Yo, there we go. To get this shot, I had to shoot it in 7K, just open, and 7K open gate, just FYI. And I'll put up on the screen what the 16:9 looked like, but I shot this in open gate so I can actually get a better looking shot. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're not. It is Shot by Kirk. Today, you already know what we're talking about, my initial impressions on the Canon C50. So the camera been out for a couple days. I done already did a couple shoots with it, and we're gonna talk about my initial impressions based on the 2 shoots that I did. Now both of the shoots, they were night and day, literally night and day difference. One was in a ballroom, low lit, and then today was outside, shooting out in the sun. We're out on a soccer field shooting a clinic. Now I'm probably gonna miss some things. I'm kind of going off the top of the head, but then 2, I'm just picking a few things that were kind of vital to me on why I wanted to pick this up and what I like about it, and some of the things that I kind of don't. The first thing, size and feel. It's super compact in comparison to my C70, which is what I was using, and this actually replaced that. This feels super good in the hand, especially like if you're a content creator. It's almost like a perfect size. It's a 1.5 pounds, so it's pretty light considering it's a cinema camera. But if you're a content creator, you can definitely get your vlogs off and not kill your arm. But for the shooters that are doing projects, they do this for work. This is how you make your money. This is your livelihood. You can throw the top handle on it, throw a little rig on it, and you straight. In my experience with the C70, especially having it rigged out, I experienced a lot of fatigue, more so on my right side because that's where I carry the camera just in case I need to get a shot up real quick. And when my arm gets tired, I switch over to the left, hold for a little bit, and then switch back to the right. But ultimately, my right side always takes the beating holding the camera, and it's pretty heavy. Today and yesterday, I didn't really feel it. The only time I felt it was like trying to get my 3 points of contact and make sure that I keep my shot steady. So I kind of prop up like this, hold the lens, you know, tight to the body, all that stuff. That was really the only like discomfort that I felt. Otherwise, I'm not gonna say I didn't feel like I was holding anything, because I was, but it just isn't anywhere near as heavy as the C70 was. And don't get me wrong, I loved my C70, but this right here is definitely something that I can get used to, especially for the type of work that I do. Majority of the time I'm running around capturing spontaneous moments or capturing a lot of B-roll and just these different things, and I'd rather have this lighter package that I can move around with versus, you know, having a heavier setup right now. That's right now. That could change. I could be shooting more corporate interviews and all these different things, but right now where I'm at and the way I'm feeling, this right here is perfect for me. The homies picked it up and they messed around with it, and they, you know, got some shots, and they love the form factor of it with the top handle. They didn't even try it without the top handle. They love it with the top handle. It's a cozy feel. It just feels right. Another thing before I move on, I love how they did the top handle. It slides into the shoe mount, and then it has 2 points of contact in terms of like the screws that you can screw down and lock it down. The C70 had 1 screw that you could like screw and, you know, lock down, but for some reason it would always like still move around. And I never understood that, considering that it was screwed and it had like little grooves that it would sit into. C70, if you own one, you know what I'm talking about. But on the C70, since this XLR thing is not here, they made it to where you can actually screw this in, you know, going down, and then it kind of sits more flush. And I thought that was dope. I realized on this that you can't do that because of the XLR thing. So my issue is, we got this here and you see the shoe, but then when I try to put the monitor is hitting the mic, which means I can't get this into the shoe. But if I take the mic off, then obviously I don't have any problem with that, and the monitor goes on fine. Yeah, that's one of the gripes that I have with this top handle. There's no cages out, and I'm pretty sure once these companies come up with cages, Small Rig, Condor Blue, Tilta, I hope that this is taken into consideration, find a different way to either position the monitor or position the mic, that'd be great, and I'd cop immediately. Or I'm not a big channel, but if y'all want to send over a cage that can rectify this situation, I will more than gladly talk about it, because yeah. Also, the first 2 shoots, I didn't even think about the crop feature. You can actually, you know, shoot your 16:9 shot and then also use the second memory card to like get a crop vertical shot. So if you keep the person in, or you know, you get your framing right, then you can have a vertical already set to the side and have your 16:9 all in one shot and not have to do a bunch of extra stuff. So I did test that, and it's up on the screen, but I more so did it for the video so I can show y'all. Autofocus. I don't know how to feel about the autofocus yet. What I can say is, in low light, it's pretty sticky. Definitely a lot better than my R5. My R5 is 5 years old, and they have changed the autofocus tech since then. I have not used it up until I got this camera. The autofocus is really good, and it's really sticky. The issue that I was having, or that I have been having on these 2 shoots, is I need to figure out the settings that work for me. So they do have, and again, if y'all got R6 Mark IIs and Mark IIIs and R5 IIs, I'm new to this new autofocus system, so stall me out. But I have to find the settings that work for me. So like if I'm tracking a face, or have, you know, priority on face or whatever, all the boxes will pop up on the different people's faces, and they have a setting where you can like scroll through. And I guess me setting it to the control ring wasn't a very good idea because it didn't work that well. Usually I'll shoot in manual focus majority of the time, like 90% of the time I shoot manual focus, but knowing that I had a camera that had better autofocus, I wanted to try it. And when it locked on somebody, it stuck. But if more people got in it, then it's like, well, do I go with them or do I go with them? With the autofocus, I just gotta play around with the camera more and see what settings work for me. If it's one person in the shot, it sticks absolutely fine. No hunting, low light, no hunting, it's fine. But multiple subjects in a shot, yeah, I haven't figured that one out. So I'm not gonna say that the autofocus is bad. It's great, but I need to mess around with it. So the power situation. The Canon C50 uses BPA 30, BPA 60 batteries, BPA style batteries. The 30 obviously is smaller than the 60, but you get about 3.5 hours out of that battery. And in the BPA 60, you can get upwards of 5-6 hours, we'll call it, right? You know, being generous. I didn't have to worry about battery with the C70, especially once I started rigging it and I put the V mount. So when you have the battery in the C70, it'll trade off from the V mount to the battery, so on and so forth, which extended my battery life tremendously. With the C50, it uses the same batteries as the R5 Mark II, which means the runtime on this camera, you only get 1.5 hours if you're shooting 4K 60 or 4K 24. If you're shooting 4K 60, it's probably closer to 1 hour that you get if you just run the battery. Now, with the rig situation, I ended up buying this USB-C to D-tap to go to my V-mount battery. To be honest, I didn't think that it was gonna work as well as it did because I was so hung up on getting the dummy battery and it working that way. But I needed a power solution and I needed one quick because these 2 batteries that I have, the original ones, they weren't gonna get me through either one of these shoots. Yesterday, I shot 5 hours. Today, I shot probably like 4 hours, but the battery died faster. I'll get to that in a little bit. I needed to make sure that I could run V-mount. I was not going to trust these LPE batteries. Luckily, I went to Sammy's and they hooked me up. Well, they didn't hook me up, I bought it, but they put me on to the USB-C to D-tap and it worked absolutely fine. I got through, last night I got through the 5 hours and still had 20% left on my V-mount. Today though, I ran a monitor. I didn't run a monitor last night because I was in a low lit room and I could see the screen just fine. Today I was out in the sun, I ran a monitor and it killed my battery. I think we started shooting probably like 8:30. I'd say like 10:30, close to 11, I was at 20%. And then over time, I just kind of ran the battery down, and I ended up taking the monitor off so I can kind of get through the rest of the shoot and not have to use my regular battery. But something to keep in mind, if you're gonna run everything off the D-tap or off the V-mount battery, the monitor, the camera, and off of that power delivery, have multiple V-mounts. I didn't have to worry about having multiple V-mounts with the C70, so that's the reason I only had one. Now I gotta have like 3, just to be on the safe side. I don't think that I would ever really run over 3. I'd probably get through like 1.5 on my typical shoots, but and I'm shooting 4K 60, so that had a lot to do with it as well. But just to err on the safe side, I'm gonna get 2 more V-mount batteries, the Small Rig 99 SE. I'm gonna get 2 more of those, and I should be straight in terms of my power delivery situation. But with the battery that's in the camera, it's not really running down, so even if that V-mount would have died, I still would have had 2 full batteries that I could have used in addition to my R5 batteries, but you don't get as much runtime on those. That was a lot about battery talk. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, but just to bring that one back home, if you're rigging the camera, so far in my experience, that dummy battery did not work. Usually when you have the battery in, and if you know about the cinema cameras with Canon, then you already know this, but it'll have the battery and then it'll give you the minutes, the runtime that you have on that battery. When you plug it up to the USB-C, it does not give you any runtime. It just says USB PD and that's it. So you have to literally look at your V-mount and kind of see where you at on that point. But just thought I'd put that one out there if you weren't familiar. Why did I buy the Canon C50? The form factor, the size, it's a workhorse that I can use for my content and client work, so I don't have to have the R5 for me to shoot my stuff and then the C70 to shoot that stuff. I can use this and shoot everything, except for when I'm on the shoot, then I'll like use the pocket and get my BTS or whatever. But when I'm, vlogging or just creating content, I could just use this one camera and do my thing. And then the purpose of the R6 Mark III is just to always have a photo camera. This can shoot photos, but I'm not gonna shoot photos with this. It's not why I bought it. Now I'm gonna mention this real quick. I am shooting this video in open gate because I wanted my full frame because I'm in a small space. The 16:9, I'll probably put that on screen so then you can see like what the framing difference is. To be real, it's not anything that you need. I'll just say that right now. It's not anything that you need, but if you into that reframing stuff all the time and whatever, and you can stylistically make use of it, by all means, but it's not nothing that you need. But I'll talk about that another time. And then low light. The low light, I shot everything last night at 6400. It's examples up on the screen. You can see what I was seeing on the screen. It looked great, but I haven't looked at it yet in post. As of me recording this video, I haven't looked at it, but obviously I will have looked at it by the time the video is up and you're watching it. But I haven't seen it, but on the screen it looked great, and I'm gonna assume that it was clean. I was really impressed by what I was looking at on the screen, and I think that's because the C70, once I hit like 3200, I could literally see the grain on the screen. And then when I got to 6400, it was just like, I don't even want to do this, but I need to get the shot, and it's better to have the shot than not. And this is a client shoot, so I have to do what I have to do, and then denoise it later or whatever the case may have you. But I didn't see not a lick of grain on that screen. Yeah, those are my initial impressions of the Canon C50. Give me some more time to mess around with it. I know I probably missed a bunch of stuff and didn't talk about certain things or whatever. Give me some more time. I got more videos coming out. Drop a comment if whatever I missed and you want me to talk about. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to this video, or I'll just put it in other videos that's coming out along the line. But I don't want to get to rambling. Like and subscribe for the good vibes.